So, here we are. Today is March 19th, 2020. My name is Byron, kind of like the poet, except I'm not a lord, but I've done well enough without that so far, so it's no skin off my back. uh, Welcome, I guess, to this thing I'm doing. It's a vlog. It's kind of spur of the moment. I probably look a little unkept. It's kind of like my life right now. Due to the you-know-what virus, I am facing unemployment. So I really don't know what to do. And so I figured I might as well just record this time for posterity. Who knows, maybe it'll lead somewhere. But you know, we make do with what we have, and I may not have much, but at the very least I can take this time and make the best of a bad situation. I've always wanted to do something online, so I guess this is about as good a time as any. I need to stop saying, this is the other thing. You may notice that I'm not cutting anything out of this. The reason for that is because I have a little bit of performance anxiety, and I feel that if I were to do cuts like this, then I would be cheating myself of the opportunity to overcome that. It's like, being able to cut out stuff is a crutch, and I'm not very good at it anyway, so we're just gonna have to make do with this as it is. Yeah. So, I guess I'm just gonna start from where I am right now, and if you would like to go on this journey with me, thank you for coming along. I work for a church. We get by on the margins, but with the increasing amount of social distancing going on, things are not looking too hot. A lot of the money that we make in order to keep the building open is through rent, which you can imagine is even worse. It's not helpful for the current situation. So, yeah, that's why I'm facing unemployment. And it really sucks, because just a couple weeks ago, I felt like my life was really on track. I'd finally figured out what I wanted to do with myself at the age of 25. And I've been making, concrete steps over the course of 2 years now to get where I want to be. And, a lot of times when people do this kind of stuff, they get online and talk about the point in which they've bottomed out. It's like, well, it's only up from here. Well, I was actually doing pretty well there for 2 years, and now it just seems like all of that progress has been erased. Well, not really erased. I guess the better word would be that it's been stifled. It's like momentum. It's like you get on a roll, and then it's like, well, this happens, and now it's just all thrown off. That's what's kind of happening to me right now. So, yeah, it really sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really know what to do. And it really brings up some interesting facets of this social phenomenon that's going on right now that I don't think a lot of people really recognize. People who are living paycheck to paycheck are definitely going to feel the sting a lot more, because if they're not allowed to work because of social distancing, you know, they're facing the good graces of whoever is putting them up. And then there's, institutions like our church that, we live by the margins. And, something like this is catastrophic for us, because if we can't get our rent and nobody's coming to church and anything like that, then we're kind of in trouble. uh, and the saddest part about it is that, like, we don't even need a lot of money for operations. It's like $2,000 a month. Some people, with their budget, it's like, pocket change. And, you could divvy that up. It's like, $3 a month from 667 people or something like that. $2 a month for 1,000 people. It's pretty sad that that's all we need, but it's hard to get it from people because everybody's got their wallets all tight because of the you-know-what virus. That which shall not be named. Naughty, naughty. I guess my frustration mostly is coming from trying to figure out how to do this in an effective way. I don't know how to get the word out to people to even consider doing something like this, because it's, with nonprofits, including churches, and especially churches, you kind of have to justify your existence. And, a lot of nonprofits can get away with that because they have some kind of cause. Churches in today's day and age are often seen as grifters. And you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you. There are a lot of churches that are just basically grifts. Like, they exist for the emotional satisfaction of the people who go to the church services, for the congregation. And they don't really do a lot of stuff for the greater community, which is sad. Yeah, I don't like that kind of thing, but, our church is unique in that, well, I guess it's not unique, but I would like to say that if I could, just tell anybody about what we're doing and give them an idea of the value that we have for our community. We're the only institution in like a 15-mile radius that offers community service opportunities. There are homeless people who I've worked with that would not be able to get that done if it weren't for our location. We have 2 AA groups and an NA group who usually meet there too. And, that stuff saves lives. People don't often think about it that way, but it truly does. And, just those things alone, I think, would be good enough to justify our existence if only people would consider the value that an institution like a church brings to some areas. Not all of them are good, but I think the one that we do is good enough. Even if you really think about it, with the numbers that I gave earlier, it's like, a couple Starbucks coffees a month that you just don't do and just give to a church instead, or even like dining out over the course of a couple months. You just don't do it once, and that would get us through this thing, or maybe it wouldn't. I'm not quite sure. It's not really clear to me when all of the social distancing stuff is going to end, because it's one of the things about practical reasoning that you learn. I'm kind of a little bit of a philosophy buff, and I study pragmatism, the philosophical school. I find it very interesting. But one of the things that you learn is that there's a difference between a solution and a stopgap measure. And it seems to me that people have kind of forgotten that social distancing isn't really a solution, it's a stopgap measure. The point is to stop the spread of the virus, not to cure it or to build an immunity to it. Both of those would actually be solutions, because it would make it so that people are either no longer infected or resistant or immune to being infected. And immunity is what you're really trying to work toward with like a vaccine or something. So until something like that comes out, I don't think that social distancing is going to stop, because what might happen is that you just have, everybody goes apart, and then, we go like 4 months that way, and then people come together again, and then it's like, oh, wait, some people still had it on them, and now it's just going to rapidly spread again, and it's going to be kind of like waves of it over time, until we get a vaccine. So, it's not looking too hot. I'm not so sure what to do about this, but I do know that we have to make the best of what we have, and do what we must to help one another out in times of need. And I just hope that people remember the poor. I have friends who, if we were put under like a strict quarantine, they wouldn't be able to afford their rent. It's really, really bad. I mean, imagine the situation that you're put in like that. It's you must choose between eating and paying your rent, and you're not allowed to go and work even though you have a stable job, because the state says no. It's really tough. So I guess the takeaway here is that that no one was really prepared for this thing. Well, I guess some people were prepared, but that people who weren't prepared for this thing, who weren't in a situation for preparing for the worst, really are going to get hit bad by this. And I guess the lesson here is the good old saying, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. I hope that people going forward remember that. So, yeah. I think with that, I'm going to end it there. Thanks for watching. This is Thinking Aloud, I guess. And maybe I'll see you next time. I'm going to try to do this maybe like 3-4 days a week, because I'm already on lower hours. And I have nothing better to do with my time, so we're just going to try this for a little bit and see where it goes. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.